This is Rajo, the controversial author. Today's subject is on relationships, entitled, Excuse Me, the great love of your life wanted me to tell you something. We're going to be reading from The Answers, the Lost Book of Knowledge, written by Rajo. And you can always follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, and under Rajo the Writer. Please forgive my reading, I'm not that good. However, we're going to be reading from Chapter 2, The Loving Touch. And what we're going to do, we're just going to scroll on down here, and we're going to start here down at the bottom. And it says, romance is the one part of the heart that holds human beings hostage. It is the region of the heart we use most. Want it so bad you become chained to it. There is a fear that you will be used once again and be left with a broken heart, constantly worrying about choosing someone that will last. Lottery winners win, and the entire time they're fearing the day that the money disappears. Always wondering can tear life apart. So can love when you don't go about it the right way. But how can you know? We ask the elders how did they do it, yet it cannot be measured by their success. They came up in a different time. Ours requires a different formula. When you're dating, you follow a pattern. I call it the process. You meet, then it take the time to get to know each other. From there, you wing it. It is at that moment that your relationship passes or fails. Even if it passes all of the tests, it can still fall apart. There is a new process that I want to introduce you to. It's new style love. Phase 1 calls for you to love somebody more than important than anyone. When we are still in our mother's wombs, we are in fetal position. Before you have met your first someone, you spend time wrapping your arms around yourself. Throughout this book, you will hear one key word: you, you, you. The theme is true that a person can't love anyone until they love themselves. It sounds easy to do, but it's not. Why so important? Well, it has been a secret until now. Follows this logic. Love for another feeds off the love that you have for yourself. When a person is exposed to those vibes, they can't help but to love you too. Name a star that you love and rest assured that they love themselves more. You should love yourself first because God thought enough of you to bring you here. No one is here without a purpose. Some lose their way, but it still lies there waiting for them to fulfill it. A person is designed to give their child all the love they can, but love yourself second and you will disrespect yourself first. They will become the adult and you will become the child. And when they are 15 or so, they will show you just how much they appreciate it. Put love for a mate in front of yours and there will be huge consequences. When you open up the door wide so that they can always go in first, you allow betrayal, deceit, and abuse to follow in right behind them. Now you just went from second to fifth in a race that you are already not winning. Either way it comes together, one thing is for sure: you are beautiful. How do you know? Well, every soul is. The soul is not human. It wasn't created one night while listening to the baritones of a great singer and cuddling. It doesn't have to have the perfect nose or muscles. The soul doesn't have an hourglass shape or starry eyes. It is what it is. So whether you are 400 pounds, think you are not smart, or are convinced that you are not attractive, you know now that you are gorgeous. Every time you are tempted to turn on yourself, remember that. Also, there is one other thing. Every second of every bad time that you experience places a debt on you. Simply put, if you don't love yourself after all that you have been through, then it was all for nothing. Phase 2 asks, did you clean out your closet? You are about to make a transition. Sooner or later, you're going to have to accept that the past relationships are gone. They may hang on as friends, but that is for another day. If you are blessed with sudden great wealth and you are not prepared for it, you will lose it all and end up with nothing to show for it. So the old must be put aside for the new. Can you imagine a new love hanging their clothes in a closet still filled with clothes from the former love? That's no good. So we're not going to skip phase 3. We're going to talk about it for a quick moment. Phase 3 calls for you to get reacquainted with yourself. Anytime you're in a relationship, you will lose a part of yourself, so it's important that you take this valuable time to get in touch with the new you. And if you want to polish it up, maybe add a few extra characteristics that you love, feel free to do so. But make sure you take the time to reacquaint yourself with yourself. Okay, so now that you have cleaned out your closet, achieved self-love, and have gotten reacquainted with the new you, abandon the idea of romance for the time being. You didn't see that coming, did you? This is the point where mistakes are made. Stay with the process. A known fact of man is that when you want something badly, you will never get it. You may get a substitute, but if you were going to accept less, then you would have never picked up this book. You ever notice that when the icebox is full of food, you are not hungry, but when it's empty, you are starving? Lust for cash and you will get change. Yearn for a mate, and here comes Charlie the loser. Be patient. All of your work thus far is heading somewhere, but not if you resort to your old ways of thinking. We're going to scroll on down here and go down to we're going to scroll down here to move towards growth and accomplishment every day. You see, that's where you want to meet your mate on the way up. If you run into them along the way, that means they were already heading your direction. In other words, you're starting with common ground. And it say you don't have time to go down the side roads with Charlie. So we're going to skip over here and we're going to go to, if you look at all the great couples of history, you will see a connection. They met each other on the way up. They took each other's hands and their forces were combined together, and their planes turned into one big rocket ship ready to be launched. Don't you think you deserve it? Or do you think that you're not as worthy as a doctor saving children? I'm not building a skyscraper or a big-time movie star. Who deserves it more than you? Get on your plane and start heading up. And if you were on food stamps and you found a way to make a house a home, you headed up. If you found a way to save $5, it is the beginning. In other words, what it comes down to is that you want to meet your mate. You want to meet them on the way up. You don't want to meet them just out and about, hoping that it might work out. It comes down to those 4 steps. What you want to do is, first of all, self-love. Then you want to clean out your closet. Then you want to get back into getting reacquainted with yourself. And of course, step 4 calls for you to start to direct yourself to self-achievement. Okay, thank y'all, and I hope that this video was very encouraging to you. Okay, we'll see you next time. Rajo.